What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. So today we're back with another OCG Metagame breakdown report, and this one's really big. It's pretty much a compilation of 51 tournaments that were held in almost every single country in the OCG. In Japan, China, Philippines, Thailand, South Korea, Vietnam. Only 1 week, but it felt like it's been like 3 weeks or something since the last one. 1st of May. Okay, yeah, 2 weeks, but still, 304 top performing decks. That's crazy. So, and I think some of the things that we're going to be seeing here might actually translate over to the TCG with some really interesting text that we can definitely get some inspiration from, and also the future, because there are some new decks that used to be kind of garbage before, but obviously became way better with new support. And maybe when we will get that new support, these decks will be insane in the TCG, because we always have the most creative players, I swear, man. Anyways, before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe. You already know it. And now let's get right into it. Alright, so the first best deck is Purrely, but not by a super long shot. I mean, it's 15.8%, so it's half of others. Others always being the best deck in non-tier 0 formats. Like, look at this, like 13.5, 33 for others, and then here 20.5, 25. Okay, so it's actually closer, but still, I mean, people realize that Purrely, even though it was the best deck, it wasn't the best deck by a long shot. And it is kind of easy to prepare yourself for Purrely if you know to expect it, because it loses really hard to certain specific cards like Season Core, Kaijus, etc. So if you know how to deck build against the deck and also play against the deck, you should be fine. Now, the second best deck is Mathmech. The deck definitely got a lot of new support, and it's funny because it's not really Mathmech cards. Third best deck, Superheavy Samurai. Not really surprising. I mean, in the TCG, one of the best decks I want to say is probably Superheavy Samurai, as well as Kashira. These two are probably the best decks to beat, but yeah, in the OCG they have Maxi, so it kind of hurts Superheavy Samurai a lot. One thing that is really interesting with Maxi being in the format is that you can actually search it with Retaliating Sea, and Retaliating Sea is really good against Purrely, so there is definitely some nice ability for you to consistently have access to Maxi if you want to play Retaliating Sea to also beat Purrely, at least in the side deck, but Superheavy Samurai can do it really well. And they were typically citing Retaliating Sea. Even in the OCG, sorry, the TCG, people are still doing that. I think worst case, you can search like Contact Sea, or there's another one that's actually not too bad. Anyways, Tearlaments, this deck doesn't exist in the TCG because they have Chaos Ruler, we don't. So the deck is completely different. Adamancipator, another deck that doesn't exist because they have Block Dragon, we don't. Kashira, the deck is better in the TCG than it is in the OCG, so this actually would be the best deck, and not like the 7th best deck or something. But depending on where you are in the OCG, like I think Philippines or something, that deck is even better. Anyways, Vanquish Soul, fantastic deck. Branded, okay, another really good deck, definitely in the top 5 best decks, honestly. Rescue Ace, I actually am really surprised to see it doing just so much better, so yeah, really cool for, you know, everyone that actually likes Rescue Ace. Runic, this deck is complete cancer, just another stun deck that prevents you from playing. 3 skill drain, 3 of every single floodgate, it's complete BS. And can also play the 5 Rainbow Magician against Superheavy Samurai. Yay, let's go! And also can destroy your back rows with their MSTs, which is super cancer. Anyways, Labyrinth, this deck is meh. Rika, yeah, sure. Dragon Link, okay. Nobody wants to play that. Dude, in the OCG, it should be good, man. They have Chaos Ruler. Oh my god. Imagine if we had the same Dragon Link deck in the TCG. Everybody would be playing it. People, yo, the Dragon Link players, they never give up on their deck. Never. They've been playing the deck since like 2020, and they're still playing it. Anyways, Exorcister, the new Spirit Monsters are pretty good for Exorcister. Same thing with Mathmech. But in Mathmech, you can also play the Firewall package. It's really up to you. Magician, okay, yeah, the new Pendulum support is definitely going to help. Flunderies, I think they still, no, they don't have the Windbearer statue, right? Yeah, so that deck is super nerfed. Shrine Brigade, especially Shrine Brigade Sprite, really good build, even though the Sprite package is really nerfed over there. Adventurous Synchron, Infernoble Knight, Manadium, that deck actually had more support in the most recent set, I think, or maybe it was Duelist Nexus, I forgot. Mathmech Adagnister, the worst version of Mathmech, or the better version of Adagnister, depending on how you see it. Metabeat, this is like Fossil Dynastun or some bullshit. Scareclaw, Sky Striker, oh yes, I love that deck. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. The new Link monster is broken, man. Oh my, I made a video yesterday, you should actually check it out. One of the best Link monsters I've read in a while, honestly. Virtual World, Blackwing, okay, this is where it becomes like extremely irrelevant. Nobody cares about these decks. Maybe a few of them, but meh, whatever. Alright, Purrely, so what is the interesting thing to see here? So basically, people are running Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World, in order to out Floodgates in their Purrely deck. So they can actually Surge the Grapha by discarding the Snow, which is crazy because they play freaking 3 Snow, 3 Brow, and a Grapha. That's pretty nuts, because if you want to play a lot of each of the Dark World monsters, the Dark World package is fantastic. But I think the Shaddoll package is also really good because you can Chain Block, and there's also a lot of versatility because you can actually Surge Shadow Dragon if you want to. So just like there's Snow to search the Grapha, the Shaddoll monsters have Hedgehog to search whatever else, or Squamata, it's really up to you. And they also have Nest Shaddoll Genius in order to prevent the Purrely Noir from activating its effect, because it affects the player and not the card. Now, Grapha has the advantage of being able to destroy any card, so not just a spell or trap card, but what they really have to be afraid of would be floodgates like Tyrant's Tirade, which is crazy. It's like it negates everything in the hand and on the field, but not in the graveyard. Well, I mean, by the way, I'm talking about monster effects. Skill Drain only monster effects on the field while they are on the field. And then there can only be one against this deck is just FTK. You really can't do anything about there can only be one outside of discarding one of your outs. Really, really scary Floodgate, man. Absolutely terrifying. And there might be something else. But I mean, if you want to, you can actually play the Ishizu monsters, which is actually really insane against Mathmech. Going second, you can just go like Quick Play Spell, discard an Ishizu, and then if they try to go Super Factorial, you can just go like Chain, Keldo, or Mudora, shuffle back your targets, and then the Super Factorial resolves with no effect. And the insane thing is that even with a 7-card Dark World package, this guy still had the space for every single card that you need for the deck except the field spell, and there's also 9 freaking hand traps with 2 trap cards. That is crazy, but also the fact that people went from playing 2 field spells with the Bridge of Salvation and Cobalt Eagle, from playing, you know, all the way to playing 0 field spells is definitely really cool, and I kind of agree with that. I think the field spell is really not that good. I mean, at most you can play 1 of it, but it's not gonna help you out when you're screwed, right? And yeah, by the way, this guy also confirming what I always believed in, 2 Plump and then 2 Beauty and then only 1 Happy. This card is honestly not that good. People overhype the shit out of it. It's really not that good. It's only good when your opponent has like literally fucking nothing. It's not resolving going second. Like people actually believe they're in Happy Land City. They're not, bro. Yeah, you can make like a 7 or 10 billion material Zeus. Nobody cares. More Bestials in the side deck. Pretty good against Mathmech and Tearlaments. But I mean, actually, I was gonna say nobody really plays Tearlaments anymore. Still the 4th best deck, so I guess, yeah. But that deck is barely a Tearlaments deck. It's just like a Synchro deck that also plays Tearlaments cards to fuse. You can only really fuse 3 times, and they're all 1-ofs, so the deck is kind of shit. Anyways, more hand traps in the side deck, so 5 more. 8 with 2 Kurikawa, 3 Evenly, 2 Talents, very interesting. No back removal outside of Evenly, which doesn't deal with Floodgates, but I guess there's the Grapha still, so it's not too bad. And the Red Reboot in the main deck, which is also very good against Mathmech, and something else. Yeah, I forgot. Hold on. It's actually explained here. Ah, yeah, there we go. Purrely Leap in the Purrely Mirror match. Wow, how relevant. Yo, nobody ever goes for that combo. They always just end on Purrely Noir and that's it, instead of like a baby Purrely monster and then transform it into a Noir. I mean, they can do it if they have like a lot of sleepy memories underneath. If you have 3, you can actually draw 6 cards. That's really cool. But anyways, that's it for the Purrely deck, and now for Mathmech. Alright, so again, 1 single card combo equals 6 interruptions. So the circular can end on the Firewall, Dark Dragon, Dark Fluid something, Neo Tempest, Terahertz, which is 2 negates because you send the Cyber's Desirable, which is this card. And then that can negate a spell or trap card activation. And then you can also send the Mirror Logic Aggregator, which can negate any face-up card on the field. So that's pretty cool. 2 interruptions there. And then the Super Factorial is going to be summoning a Laplacian. That's going to be sending 3 cards in total that your opponent controls. So 1 from hand, field, and spell and trap zone. Well, monster, and then spell or trap. And you can also negate something if you have Diameter underneath, but it only negates, it doesn't negate and destroy. So it's good, but it's not like super insane. And again, all of that with 1 card, so you can play a lot of hand traps, a lot of other kind of cards. Only hand traps are in there. First of all, there's a Kaiju with, you know, some more utility cards. So 1, 4, 6, 9, 11 hand traps. That's, you know, that's something. It's pretty much almost a third of your deck. And side deck is really interesting. A lot of 1-ofs that are not awkward at all because you can actually surge them with Small World. This is the kind of thing that Mathmech can do really well. And this guy also, you know, gave all of us the, kind of some examples of how to bridge with Small World. It's kind of easy, though. I mean, the majority of monsters are like level 3 or 4 with light, dark, fire, something attribute. You can always pretty much access them really easily. Unending Nightmare, this card is also very interesting. What are you playing Unending Nightmare against? Like Runic? Against Runic, I think it's pretty good. Against Superheavy Samurai, could be decent. I guess Kashira, it's pretty good. You destroy the field spell in the birth, but then they still have Fenrir if they hard draw it, if they're good at the game. Or if they draw like Unicorn, then you're screwed. I don't know. I mean, obviously Unending Nightmare is a fantastic card. I really like it, but it's not that generic. And then Scolding, Solemn Judgment. I guess Unending doesn't conflict with Scolding, I think, because it's only like your face down cards that count. I don't know. Anyways, Retaliating Sea, Trap Eater for the Floodgates, Archfiend Eccentric. There's also a Mythical Beast Garuda. They're pretty much the same. They kind of do the same thing, it's just that Archfiend Eccentric can also deal with Vanity's Fiend, whereas Garuda only really outspells and traps, unless you're playing it in Pendulum, but you're not. And yeah, no build is playing more than one Sigma, by the way. And this is not playing Nabla, which I really disagree with, but I don't know, it's also playing like way less non-Mathmech monsters, so only one Aratama and one Sakitama. Again, no firewall cards. You could play them, but they play a little harder into Shifter or Droll, because if you get hit by these cards, you can't really make Baguska really easily. Whereas if you get Drolled on the search of Aratama, you can just search Sakitama, extra normal summon, and make Baguska pass. But this build is not playing Baguska anyways. Also playing Link Spider in case if it gets hit by Nibiru or something, you can get a token. Because there's no other token generating cards, if I recall correctly. But whatever. I mean, really cool, you know, main deck. And, I mean, overall, I like Mathmech. And Purrely, it gives me cancer, but I understand why it's there. Okay, so Superheavy Samurai now. So nothing too extraordinary. There is the one out to skill drain, which is the first monster there. I forgot the name. I think it's Ninja or something. Or this might be the Benkei, actually, which has nothing to do with... Hold on a second. They all kind of look similar. Yeah, okay, no, never mind. The Thief is the one that destroys skill drain. So the first one is definitely Big Benkei. It allows the Pendulum Big Benkei to actually special summon itself from the hand and do something else. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of dog shit, actually. Yeah, it has the other effect, like when it's used as a synchro material, you can place it in the pen scale. Kind of dog shit, but whatever. I guess it creates some new combos if you really brick, but that shouldn't be an issue. And by the way, this guy actually followed my advice, playing more than one Regulus. Great minds think alike. But yeah, this is beautiful. I really like this. So 3 Regulus and also 2 Soul Piercer, another thing that I said the deck should be doing, because playing only 1 Soul Piercer and only 1 Regulus really doesn't make too much sense. This deck should be playing Jizu-Kiryu, because you can search it with Clifford Genius, and he also plays it, but for some reason there's no Jizu-Kiryu to be found here, unless I'm blind, but I don't think so. So yeah, going second against Purrely is just a matter of making Underworld Goddess, but at least he runs that card, so it does make sense. And then 2 Santa Claus as well, which is funny because it's actually harder to get access to Santa Claus than it is to get Jizu-Kiryu, even if that it would be a 2 of, and Jizu-Kiryu would just be a 1 of, because again, one of them is searchable, the other one you have to sack it. You have to be skillful at the game, right? And yeah, a bunch of hand traps as well, so 12, which is actually less than in the TCG. Yeah, so people are playing a lot of Ogres here, a lot of main deck Ghost Mourner and some random BS that I don't like, and Gamma as well, but the OCG cannot play Gamma because it's just at 1, whereas here it's at 3, so it's really broken. You definitely have to play Gamma if you can. And the side deck has Mythical Beast Garuda and Archfiend Eccentric. In the, I think, TCG, people are only playing 3 Eccentric. They don't give a shit. Again, side decking in the OCG and TCG is completely different. We have a completely different mentality and outlook on things, so they play a lot of diverse cards, so 1-ofs, 2-ofs, rarely 3-ofs. This side deck only plays like 2 3-ofs, and this one only 1 3-of, whereas in the TCG we have like 5 3-ofs. So yeah, they play 1 Garuda and 1 Eccentric so that if they draw both, they can go Garuda pop and then Eccentric pop again. Whereas if you have 2 Eccentric, you can only pop 1 back row. The other one is obviously useless because it's once per turn, but you could use it to destroy a monster. It's just that it's going to take up your normal summon. It's not going to be that good, but it's still something, I guess. So it really depends on your mentality. If you judge Eccentric as a necessity to destroy monsters as well, then definitely play 3 Eccentric. If you only really view it as an MST, I think you should actually vary between Eccentric and Garuda just so that drawing multiples is not that bad. And yeah, nothing else that's really interesting. Why is the Kumongus here? Am I missing something? I feel like it's kind of random. I guess you can Pendulum Summon it, but yeah, I really don't understand. I feel like Jizu-Kiryu should be here instead. Whatever, I mean, if I'm missing something, please let me know. And then DD Crow, it's not too bad. It hits certain decks. This side deck should have Bestial monsters instead of DD Crow, like Magnemite, Druid Worm, and stuff like that, because Tearlaments is still a thing. The Bestials are broken against Despia and Mathmech, but obviously useless in a mirror match because you're only really reviving back Earth monsters with a Scarecrow. Tearlaments next up, not bad at all. It looks really clean, but again, their extra deck has this card right here, man. Chaos Ruler. It's so broken. Apart from that, this just doesn't feel right at all. One Glow Bulb, which is a card that I haven't seen in a while. 2 Revolution Synchron, I think that's the name. No Assault Synchron, which is extremely shocking. 1 Jet Synchron. Only 1 Tuning, even though, you know, it's a 3, so easily could have been playing 3. 1 Trivicama, of course, and then the rest is... I don't know, yeah, pretty average. I mean, they all look alike, and then 3 Season Core. Great out, by the way, to Kashira Rizard, so it has a lot of overlap because you can use it against Abyss Dweller, even if your opponent has like a Salamangreat Roar or something. I was definitely not targeting Salamangreat with that example, but I do remember that people used to play Season Core against Salamangreat when they were playing like Orchist, because you can have all the hand traps in the world. If your opponent hard makes Dweller and Roar, you lose the game with Orchist. You can't do anything. But yeah, Season Core is one of the very few outs to that. Same thing with like VFD, right? You can just use it on draw phase with turn player priority. Your opponent can't like chain. Nobody can respond to Season Core with card effects. So yeah, this card is just overall really good against any deck that ends on like a really terrifying Xyz monster. So Purrely Noir as well as Kashira Rizard and whatever else that could make Dweller against this deck. So definitely agree with this one. Better than a Kaiju monster. Regeki is a little awkward. I mean... I can kind of understand, maybe Darkhold would have been better, but this guy's already playing Tearlaments Grief, so it makes sense. 2 freaking Heartbeats, which is very difficult to search because there's no Kid Kalos. So you can, I mean, it's still really good because you can send it with the, well, you can mill it and then recycle back your traps, right? It has that other graveyard effect. So it always makes more sense to play cards like Heartbeats that are in Archetype rather than playing like random non-engine cards like Twin Twister and stuff like that. That wouldn't really be that good anyways. Or like Cosmic Cyclone. And there's also the 1 Harpy Feather Duster with the tasking, so that you can kind of search it, quote unquote. But a 1-of that search is a 1-of, not the best deal. Adamancipator, nothing too interesting. I guess there's Chaos Hunter in the side deck, but are we really going to be discussing that? And also the deck didn't really evolve over time. Everything that I see here, I understand. So there's the Vernalizer monsters, so that you can always revive back your monsters and keep playing, but they do lock you under only being able to activate Earth monster effects for the rest of the turn, so that you actually can lose really hard to Nibiru if you're, you know, because your Baron cannot negate the Nibiru, so that's actually really annoying. And the Appaloosa also cannot negate Nibiru, so if you have to rely on that, you're screwed. But the Paratool Braver Dragon is just... what it's honestly the best boss monster in the deck, because you're going to be able to access Smoke Grenade, destroy a card in your opponent's hand, and also look at the hand, and also negate another monster effect on like the main phase or something. Really freaking scary-ass card. And also this card, I forgot the name, Jewels or something. Yeah, it's really cool in the Adamancipator deck. Now, Kashira, very interesting side deck. 3 3-ofs. Oh my god, 0 Link monsters, pretty much, yeah, I mean, only 2 Prosperity because it's a 2, but there is not a single monster that, like, benefits off of being detached from your monsters, from the Rizard, I guess. So yeah, no, fuck, what was the name? Fossil something, Skull Knight, and then Elder Entity Entis, Garuda, the Infinite Track, Golem or something, the Link 1 monster, none of that at all. So yeah, just only a bunch of monsters that he actually can summon. And yeah, with the Extravagance, it makes sense that they're maxed out of 3. Yeah, no Donner, no Lingribo, so if you're giving that deck a Ibli, you're gonna be winning your games. Yeah, that deck cannot out Ibli on game 1, or game 2, or game 3. Oh my god, why is nobody playing that card over there? Yeah, even against the freaking Adamancipator deck, it should be insane. Like, oh my god, dude, people are sleeping on Ibli. Literally destroys everyone, except this deck, obviously. It's just gonna link it off for, like, anything. Oh, actually... yeah, I mean, no, I can link it off for this one, I think. It's a level 4 lower Cybers. Yeah, okay, yeah, never mind. But yeah, Ibli against Purrely should be game. They can only, like, normal summon a monster and then link it off for the Azalea or Codebreaker. But that's about it. They can maybe go Grapha destroy themselves. I don't think so. I think that's a mandatory effect to destroy an opponent's card. So yeah, oh my god, Ibli should be in everyone's side deck or something. Yeah, anyways... Conclusion, yeah, even though Mathmech and the Purrely deck are the best decks, they're not the best decks by a long shot, so everyone else is not that far behind. And I don't know what this is supposed to mean. I guess DD Crow and Red Reboot are good against Mathmech, but who gives a shit because Bestials are also just as good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts about the OCG format in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.